Good answer.
It's great. You've seen all the public polling, people concerned about age. How does the president plan to convince the American people over the next year that 80 is not too old for someone who's running for re-election?
80 is the new 40. Didn't you hear? Look, it is. Let's. I get asked this question about once a week, maybe twice a week. I don't know. I've lost track. This is a president, if you think about it. In 2019, he got the same criticism. In 2020, he got the same criticism. In 2022, he got the same criticism. And every time, he beats the naysayers. Every time he does above and beyond and makes history in doing that, that others are not able to do, right? And I think that's really important too.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about the polls, okay? And I know we've been talking about the polls a lot. Some people don't believe the polls. The Democrats have gotten to the point now where they don't believe the polls either because the polls are not going in their favor.
We showed a poll earlier that more than 60% of Americans do not believe that President Biden is mentally sound enough to serve as president. That number includes a quarter of Democrats and nearly 70% of independents. So what do you make of those numbers?
So first of all, I'm going to tell you that everybody knows this at MSNBC, and Chuck Todd knew it well. I don't believe in polls because you all keep giving me all these polls and told me I was crazy when I said Donald Trump was going to win Michigan. And I was right and you were wrong. And I'm in those halls and I know what people are saying, and it's a year out from this race. So this is just another poll that's an inflection of time that you all are going to use to make a lot of noise about. I'm going to listen to what the voters are really thinking and what the choice is going to be and who it's going to be between. Now, President Biden has got to show people how engaged he is, what he's paying attention to, making sure he's fighting for those issues that working men and women across this country care about. He's going to do it during this auto strike. He's going to do it for the next year. And ask me next October what I think and who's going to win, because I get out every weekend. I talk to real people. Polls don't talk to real people.
Right. Now, again, we know that, polls haven't been all that accurate, okay? But they do give us at least some data to, speculate and to understand exactly where the American people are at any given point of time. And right now, at this time, the Biden White House is terrified, reportedly, okay, according to CNN. They are terrified. And videos like this kind of explain why, as regardless of what the deep state has thrown at Trump and the tricks that the deep state is trying to pull to make you think that the Justice Department is not actually going after political opponents and that they are fair and balanced, it seems that even Democrat Party voters are not falling for the nonsense, and they see right through the rules and the current psyop that's being played on the American people to make us think that the Biden Justice Department is actually fair and balanced.
What do you think about this, the indictment? Where does this go?
Well, I'm not honestly exactly sure what to think of it yet. I think that they have found something that they can charge him with that is insulated from his father, and hopefully maybe get it taken care of early enough that they can say, see, we're done with Hunter. Mm-hmm. Let's not use that as a political situation during the election time.
Jamil, how about you?
I think considering this investigation took 5 years and these are the charges they brought, and after this sweetheart plea deal collapsed in court, I honestly think they're going to wait a couple of months until a trial against Trump happens, and they're going to try another plea deal in another district. I think we can see, since Republicans have taken control of the House, we've seen so much evidence that these charges have been stymied and the investigation has been covered up mostly. So I think this is just them playing face. This is Biden needs some kind of win that he has a secure Department of Justice. And this honestly is just a sham.
I know that you're a Democrat. You're more conservative Democrat, right?
Yes.
Who do you like in this election?
I think I'm mostly geared towards Donald Trump.
Really?
I think I have seen the pullout of Afghanistan from Joe Biden, and then I watched him check his watch during the funeral of the servicemen. And I think if we were to go to a war, I'm prime age to be drafted, and I don't want him to check his watch while they're burying me. I don't believe that he's a competent commander in chief, and then he'd probably blame my death on climate change in the same way he blamed the pullout in Afghanistan on Donald Trump. I've seen.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, hear me out on this, okay? Mr. Jamel Jackson, who apparently is a Democrat voter from Philadelphia. He's a young guy. If I was a betting man, okay, I would bet that he most definitely watches my channel, okay? Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that? It's because despite what my critics say, right, they say I'm a sellout, I'm a Tom, okay? There's just a bunch of white people watching my channel. I'm tap dancing for the white man. A vast majority of the time when I am recognized in public, which happens more than you probably think, okay, or more than I thought would ever happen, okay? I'm surprised by how often it happens. A vast majority of the time, it is younger black men, right? Or middle-aged black men, okay? Or so-called men of color, okay? Because I've had, like Hispanic men recognize me as well too, or Latino men. The point is that they're not white, okay? Which, again, is the narrative here, right? Well, black conservatives, they're just appealing to white people and only white people watch them. You're not a real black voice. Black people don't listen to you. Well, I actually think more black people watch my channel than a lot of people would like to believe. I'm just saying, okay? I really do believe there's quite a bit of non-white people that watch my channel. I'm just saying, right? And they always come up to me and they say the same thing every single time. They're like, hey, I used to be a Democrat, or that I am a Democrat Party voter, but now I'm independent. And because of your channel, you have waken me up to what is going on. Okay. Now they do go on to say, well, I'm not Republican or whatever, but I'm independent. Like I see what's going on, right? The hypocrisy of the left is crazy. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I feel like maybe, just maybe, there are more black people in this country that are waking up to the hypocrisy of the left and just how terrible the Democrat Party is. Now, again, I can't claim that I'm turning these people into Republican voters or hardcore conservatives, but hey, it seems to me that there are people that are waking up. And this awakening apparently is terrifying the Biden administration because Trump is the most natural candidate to gain those voters, okay? He really is, okay? And again, that's why Biden's aides are terrified. So we're going to read a little bit here, okay, about what they're terrified about, and then we're going to look at the polls real quick because the polls are devastating for Biden. Let's read here. President Biden's aides are reportedly terrified of losing to former President Donald Trump in a potential rematch as several polls show the two in an essential tie. CNN reported on Thursday that polls showing no clear lead between the two candidates in a hypothetical rematch were leaving aides with existential stress as members of the media continue to question whether Biden should run for re-election at all. Quote, the former president may seem like the easier Republican candidate to beat as a known quantity who is toxic to many voters, but they're terrified that if he is the nominee, any fumbles by the campaign or the president himself would enable the return of a candidate they see as a singular threat to American democracy, CNN's report read. Yeah, so here's the thing. This is exactly what I've been telling you guys, right? This is exactly what I've been saying. One of the reasons why I think that they're going to get rid of Biden is because if this man has a Mitch McConnell moment on the campaign trail, which is extremely likely that he will, consider how the dude's not getting any younger, it's over. It's absolutely over, okay? Given that, the state of the economy, the immigration crisis, flipping Democrats in these liberal cities to hardcore Trump supporters, right? They want to build a wall, okay? Crime. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things going against the Biden administration right now, and they should be terrified, right? If I was them, I'd be terrified because the plan of trying to indict Trump, okay, and to throw all these political witch hunts against him has officially backfired. Why do I say that? Well, the reason why is because the Democrat Party, they want Trump to win the primary, right? They want Trump to win the Republican primary. Why is that? It's because the thought process was that, well, Trump is more beatable than everybody else, okay? That Trump is the one candidate that Biden should be able to beat, right? And you also have people who support DeSantis and other candidates saying, well, Trump shouldn't be the nominee because, he can't beat Biden, right? Even though in the polls, Trump is actually more electable in the general than DeSantis and a lot of those other people that they vouch for, which is fascinating, right? It really is, because this whole time we've been hearing how Trump is not a good general election candidate. He can't beat Biden in the general, right? This is why you shouldn't vote for him. Even though you love his policies, you think he did great things for the country, you want to see him back in the White House, don't vote for him, right? Because he can't beat Biden. That narrative has completely fell apart. Because again, Trump is polling better than DeSantis is against Biden in the general election. And Trump now officially is outright beating Biden, even in the polling averages. Okay. So this is not one of those situations where, you have a one-off poll where Trump's beating Biden, which is what we've seen up until this point. No. According to Real Clear Politics, Trump has officially taken a 0.5 lead against Biden. Okay, so he's officially in the lead now based off the Real Clear Politics average, which is devastating for Biden. Why is it devastating for Biden? Well, the reason why is because if you look at the 2020 election in the national polls, Biden was up ahead of Trump going into the election 4.5 points, okay? And this is important because Democrats need the popular vote in order to win, okay? I mean, Republicans don't necessarily need the popular vote because of how the electoral college works. They don't necessarily need the popular vote to win. And the Republicans have not won the popular vote in a long time, okay? I feel like it's literally been decades, right? So as you can see here in 2020, literally every poll had Biden up big over Trump, right? So fast forward till today, okay, Trump is now winning the popular vote, which basically means that if an election was held today, it is very hard to see a scenario in which Trump loses, okay? Again, look at the 2016 polls. Clinton was up 2.1% going into the election. And who won that election? And Trump won the election. So I'm just saying, I mean, if you look at it in a certain way, it becomes very problematic for the Biden administration in regards to where he's currently at. Now, if Trump continues to rise in the polls to the point where basically Trump is going to outright win, okay? We're talking about him getting outside of the range of the margin of error to say that, hey, Trump is just outright winning. Because right now it's a virtual tie, okay? I mean, statistically speaking, even though Trump is up in the averages, if it gets to the point where it's undeniable that Trump is going to win, yeah, they're going to make Biden drop out, right? Again, I don't know who they're going to replace him with. It's going to be Kamala, Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, whoever, right? I think it's going to be Kamala personally. I just think that if it continues to go in this direction, Biden's going to have to drop out 100%, okay? And again, I think that all of this idea that, Trump is not a good general election candidate, he can't win, I think that's bunk, okay? I think that Trump is a better general election candidate than DeSantis is. And the reason why I say that is because I just think that Trump is closer to the middle than DeSantis. And some people may see that as a bad thing. But honestly, again, if you're trying to win a general election, that's kind of what you have to do, right? It is what it is. You share a country, okay? And I'm saying this because there are a lot of people that are criticizing Trump's interview with Megyn Kelly, right? And him being proud of Operation Warp Speed and talking about the vaccines and, his issues with Fauci or whatever. And I think people got to understand, look, regardless of my opinions on the vaccine, I don't necessarily have a positive opinion on it. There are a lot of people in this country that do have a positive opinion on it, right? And those are Democrats. And that is why Trump kept talking about how Democrats think it's so great, okay? And at the end of the day, it's not that he's ignoring the base. He's just in general election mode, right? He realizes that, hey, I got to win over Democrats. One of the reasons why you're seeing Democrats flirt with, putting back into place pandemic restrictions is because one of the reasons why they won in 2020 is because of the pandemic, right? And them blaming every COVID death on Trump. So, of course, Trump's going to come out and say, look, these vaccines that you guys tout as the key to moving beyond the pandemic, to open back up the economy. Look, Operation Warp Speed, this started in the Trump administration. I was the key to that. Now, again, obviously that doesn't play well with the base, but in the general election, it will play well, right? Because that's a counterpoint to what the Democrats are going to throw at him and say, well, if there's another pandemic, look what happened under Trump. When I really don't necessarily think that Trump really deserves as much criticism as he gets for how he handled the pandemic from the left or the right, really, because it's very easy to play Monday morning quarterback on what Trump should or should not have done. But the people that are upset with Trump for Operation Warp Speed and the vaccine is like, well, look, at the end of the day, Trump didn't force the vaccine into people's arms, right? That was Democrats. I don't think that if Trump was in office, he would have forced people to take the vaccine. He definitely probably would have promoted it, right? But I mean, hey, promoting is different than forcing, right? Those are two different things. And damn near every Republican promoted it when the vaccine first came out. Okay, that's just a fact, including DeSantis. But I'm just telling people that the way you got to think about it is that Trump is probably in general election mode, okay? And this is why he's coming out and saying some of the things he's saying, because he knows at the end of the day, he has to win over independents, moderates. And honestly, he's probably the candidate that's most well-equipped to do it, since he did bring in millions of Democrat Party voters into the Republican Party, right? And without Trump, the Republican Party would basically be dead. I mean, that's just the honest-to-God truth. So I think that people are overreacting a little bit to Trump's interview with Megyn Kelly and some of the things he said. Regardless of my personal opinions on the vaccines and my view on it, Trump didn't mandate it on anybody. He didn't force it on anybody. It's easy to go back and play Monday morning quarterback about what, this person would have did or what that person would have did when the pandemic first began. But I'm just saying, ultimately, at the end of the day, Trump's going to come out here and he's going to be probably more moderate on a lot of issues, because he knows that, okay, I got to win a general election. And in order to win a general election, there's just some issues where you're going to have to, meet in the middle, right? And I'm just saying that's politics, right? I'm just politics. That don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you the truth and what to expect moving forward here as Trump continues to rise in the polls despite the witch hunt from the Democrats. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.